your suet puddin' Wilma Fingerdoo with another makeup review-ish type video. It's not really a makeup. I'm not a makeup channel. I love makeup. I use a lot of makeup. I have a lot of makeup, but I'm not really a makeup channel. I'm not doing looks all the time. I mean, the closest I get to it really these days is my Makeup and Movies series, which I'm sadly behind, so I haven't even been doing those lately. But that said, I do get some makeup in PR. I do get some products religiously from some companies, but for the last 3 years, I've literally been on a no-buy. I haven't really bought any makeup, and I have been hearing about a website here in Canada called I Feel Beautiful, and it is a retail site, but they don't produce any of the makeup. What it is a way for Canadians to get great indie brands in Canada. You're not paying shipping fees from the States. You're not paying duty at the border. I don't know about you, but I don't understand how the duty's paid. It's like that the duty officer that day needed to pay for parking or something. I don't know, but I feel like sometimes things get charged, sometimes they don't. Sometimes well past the fact I'll get a FedEx bill. It's very confusing. And I always forget to add those things to the cost, but they have to be added because they make things more expensive. So with I Feel Beautiful, they're a great little company that sells all these indie brands. They have Glamlight, they have Blend Bunny, Inslee Rain. So let me show you what happened. I bought two things from I Feel Beautiful. The first one was the Glamlight Rick and Morty palette. I am not a fan of Rick and Morty. I don't like the cartoon work. I find it a little vulgar and distracting. But this color story is the tits. I love this color story, and I couldn't. I avoided this. I avoided this. I avoided this. It was out of stock on Glamlight's site for the longest time, and then I think it came back in stock, and a YouTube friend of mine, Erica Conger, got it. She had avoided it. She missed getting it. She missed getting it. She found out I'm getting it, and I watched her video with her using it, and I was like, I'm getting it. And it was at that time that I think it was Chloe Demure from Save the Victor who told me about I Feel Beautiful. They're actually on the west coast of Canada, out in BC, which is where Chloe is. So she's a little more, I guess, sensitive to those kind of companies releasing stuff. So I went to I Feel Beautiful, and they had the Rick and Morty palette. Now, what's interesting is the Rick and Morty palette. I wrote all this stuff down. On Glamlight, the Rick and Morty palette was $51 Canadian. They did the transfer, on websites, they just do that. So I Feel Beautiful was selling at the same price, $51. Exactly the same price, already transferred to Canadian funds, fine. Now, with Glamlight, they do a shipping price from the States to my door, $21. They don't have a protection fee or anything. So the whole thing came to $69. Now, if I were to buy Rick and Morty separately off the I Feel Beautiful site, it's $51. It's only $17.33, so literally $3.50 saved right there on shipping. But I Feel Beautiful adds a package protective $2.13, which I don't mind. I'd much rather have. I wouldn't buy it myself, but if it's added, I don't mind. And then because we're Canadian, we had tax on top of that, so it was $9.28. So actually, if I were to buy this separately from I Feel Beautiful, it would be more expensive than Glamlight. Glamlight would come in at $69, and this one comes in at $82.73. So we're looking at $13, $14 difference. So significant. The other palette that I bought at the same time from I Feel Beautiful, the Ellis Atlantis collab with Blend Bunny. Now, I wasn't going to buy this. I wasn't going to buy this because when I saw this story, this color story, let me show you. It's stunning. This is a stunning color story. It is it is in keeping with the Blend Bunny layout style, which is darks to lights. They lay it out in a way that you can see the color families. Do you know what I mean? And that. So just to give you an idea, here is their blends, their first palette, blends. So very similar. Now, I haven't really compared, but these are both rainbow palettes. They're very similar. So when the Ellis Atlantis palette came out, I was very excited, but then I saw it and I went, well, I have all that. And I felt bad because I really like Ellis Atlantis. I really like Blend Buddy. But, like, look, I more or less, the blues are very similar. The pink, I can't get them all in because they're so large. The blues are very similar. The pinks are very similar. But then I think you would find that with any palette that was rainbow. I think there's certain tones that just go with each other. Now, it's more extensive in the Ellis Atlantis collab. But I just want to show you the other thing is, in Britain, there's this lovely place called Be Perfect. A lot of people have heard of Beauty Bay as well, but Be Perfect, the Stacey Marie series, the Carnival series, is very similar to this. So I already thought, like, if you're British and you saw this, you'd probably say, well, I already have stuff like that. Now, this is their intergalactic palette from Be Perfect. They're very different layout. Like, this is a classic makeup layout where it lets you see all of the colors randomly, so it keeps your eye moving. So if you were to compare shades, they're not similar. I'm not going to try and tell you anything in here is the same, but they're similar. You're going to run the gamut for rainbow palettes of similar tones. Now, yeah, even the yellows and the oranges, the pinks, there's tones. This one is very cool heavy. They've got that whole left side that's all cool tones. But this one has the 4 tones in the bottom right-hand corner that are that as well. So very similar. But what I thought was smart about Ellis and Blend Buddy getting together is chances are, if you're American, you've heard of Blend Buddy and not of Be Perfect. So you don't have a big palette like this. I thought, if you were American, you've never heard of Be Perfect. So this would be really innovative for you to see. Also, if you're not necessarily an indie brand person, then you're not familiar with Blend Bunnies and their layout style. But still, I think with Blend Bunnies, most of their palettes are this size. They're usually 30 piece. They had that one, the Lure palette had less, I think. But this is a standard size palette. This is a little bigger. Not a lot of people are going to go for this. But if you've never tried Blend Buddy, this is an excellent palette to jump in with because it's almost like all the Blend Buddy palettes in one big palette. So anyway, this palette retails on the Blend Buddy site for $92. Very expensive. That's another reason I didn't buy it. Now, I Feel Beautiful, same price, $92. Now, when you order this as a Canadian, when you order this from Blend Buddy, they add $33 in shipping. That's a third of this price, a third. And then they have a $3 package protect. So the whole thing comes to $128 for this palette on its own from Blend Buddy. Now, if you buy this at I Feel Beautiful, it's still $92, same Canadian as a Canadian price, $92. They have their shipping is only $17.33, so it's literally like $21 less, like ridiculous. There is a package protect. It's $2.13, which is like 87 cents cheaper than the American one. So there's some more money saved. But as a Canadian, we have to pay taxes, $14.21. Still, the total of this from I Feel Beautiful with shipping, $125.67. And it's $128 in from Blend Buddy itself. So you're saving yourself $2.50. Not huge, but it adds up. Now, here's the thing. I bought both of these in one place at I Feel Beautiful. If you were to buy them separately, they come to $197 because you're paying for 2 different shippings from 2 different companies. And I'm not even adding in possible duty at the border. But buying these both from I Feel Beautiful, first of all, one package. As a Canadian, huge difference right there. I only paid shipping once. And on top of that, it got to my house a lot quicker, like I think under 2 weeks. Vladimir, who works at I Feel Beautiful, for some reason I had to call them. I had put, as I said, I just moved, so I had put my wrong address in or some such thing. I had to contact them, and they were very good. Vladimir got back to me that day. The package went out that night. I had it in less than 2 weeks. But the total package price for these two, $186.32. So $11 saved shopping from I Feel Beautiful. As a Canadian, I'm just saying, if you're American, ignore what I just said. It doesn't matter. If you're British, it doesn't matter. But as a Canadian, I was very impressed with that because, $11 is $11. I'm also one of those people like, oh, it's $11 for this for shipping or $11 for that for whatever processing. It's like, okay, it's 11, but they add up 11, 11, 11. All of a sudden it's 33.55. You know what I mean? To save $11, huge deal. So Vladimir and the team at I Feel Beautiful, I'm so happy to know you. Thank you so much. It's not my last time shopping with you for sure. And if you are Canadian and really love makeup but hate the multiple sites, the multiple shipping prices and all that, check out I Feel Beautiful. See what they have. See if there's things there that you've been looking for, and get into it. All right, so I am going to prime my eyes with my P. Louise Rumors Zero. I've tried eyeshadow bases before. And my Trixie Mattel mirror. The reason I use, look how dirty it is. Oh, it's terrible. This is the Juno Birch one. I have to clean this. But the thing I love about this mirror is the shape. It's a heart. So the nice thing is when I'm looking at myself, it doesn't block my whole face. Do you know what I mean? Because when I'm doing my makeup, I tend to put my mirror right in front of what I do. And I apologize in advance. I'll do it again. I will do it again. But, all right. So I am just going to start. This is just such a big palette. So huge. Huge. But we are going to start with this green, this dark green here, which is called Membrane. And we'll just start with this. I remember when I first saw Ellis Atlantis, it was Glow Up. It was their first season. And I love tall people because I'm tall and I'm not comfortable being tall. Oftentimes I'm a foot taller than everyone in the room, and it's very annoying. I'm only 6'4". I mean, only. There are way taller people in the world for sure, but like one of my best friends is 6'7". And there was a period in my life where a lot of my friends were over 6 feet, even the women. I remember the bunch of us once at a party. We were all performers, and we were all at a party, and we were just standing there and realized that we were the tall people over in the corner. And it's weird being tall at a party because everyone's voice travels at their mouth level, but if their mouth level is down here, at parties I can't hear people, especially when there's a lot of noise. I have to lean in. And I went through this period where my family was like, you need to get your ears tested. It's like, you need to speak up, and it wasn't until I met Jeffrey and he said, oh yeah, people are too short for me to listen to. And then he explained it. I was like, that's exactly what the problem is. I'm not good at a party. You know what it is? I don't like going places on my own. I'm too shy to walk into a room on my own, even if it's a room I know. How I combat that is, if they're people that are having the party are good friends of mine, I go early so I'm there so that when people show up, I'm already there. And in my mind, I can quantify it as, well, I'm helping with the party. All right, so I am now going to go into Regenerate, which is, these are the bluer greens here. I love how Blend Buddy does that. So yellow greens, blue, purple, browns. So I'm going to go into Regenerate because it's a fair drop from that one. And I'm using, this is a fluffy pencil that I actually used to blend out the membrane color. So now I'm going in with this. Finish. Whew. Yeah, so I first saw Ellis on Glow Up, which is a British series about makeup, but I think it's on Netflix, so I think a lot of North Americans have seen it for sure. I think they've had 3 seasons. And I was such a huge fan of Face Off. Do you remember that? I wish they'd bring that back. That series kind of fell apart just, I think, before COVID or just during, but I love that series. That was one of my favorite ones to watch. But the problem with that series for me is it really wasn't about makeup as much as it was about prosthetics, like Hollywood makeup, where you're putting like a mask on somebody and really like building up a look And as fascinating as that is, to me, that's more than makeup. Do you know what I mean? Like uh, that's why I really enjoyed Glow Up, because it was just makeup. Like, you could do other things. You could do prosthetics, and there were projects that involved, like, say, a bald cap or something. But for the most part, it was just makeup skills, and that's what I loved watching. And I think of England as being such a great place for innovative makeup. I mean, sure, now we have Pat McGrath, but I'm thinking back to the '80s when Boy George and Annie Lennox and all of these people were performing and wearing makeup. Like, there was some very colorful and fantastic makeup coming out of Europe at the time, and so I've just always been super, super interested in anything Britain's doing. And this is one of the reasons why I'm such a fan of Be Perfect and Beauty Bay, because to me, they remind me, or they put me in mind of the stuff that I loved about makeup when I first was discovering it, which is in the '80s. Um, so Ellis was on their first season. I'm just blending all of this green out just a little bit. And he won. And it was interesting. The thing I liked about him is he's huge. He's a beast. He's easily my height, 6'4". But there's just something, for me, I just really love seeing a big, large, taking up space in a room person doing this very intricate and delicate makeup work. And it's nice seeing somebody create a makeup palette who actually uses makeup. I don't know. I feel better buying makeup from somebody who obviously wears it. That's one of the things I like about Beauty Moon Cosmetics from Britain. Tori, who owns that company, she totally wears it. She totally wears it, and she doesn't care who knows. I'm just taking the blending brush that I had to blend out this Regenerate Green, and I'm going to go into. I want to mix these two colors together. So we've got Specimen and Infestation. I feel a theme coming on here. But I'm just going to dap my brush between the two and blend this out. Then I'm just going to take this is a flat, fluffy brush. It's not flat really, but it's from P. Louise. I'm just going to go back into Membrane, that first green color, and I just want to blend it out a bit more. Especially just out here. I just noticed that my lights weren't on. We hate that. I like a blue background. That's better. See how that looks like a line? You don't want it looks like marker makeup. Do you know what I mean? Like you've taken a Sharpie and drawn it on. I like to blend it out. Also, I'm going to be putting some black in here as well. So I like to build up the color. One of the things that I love about Blend Bunny is their makeup is so easy to use. I mean, it's silly to say, but it blends beautifully. And I think the way that they lay out their palettes and really help. I think it's helpful for if you've studied makeup theory or color theory, and you know how to juxtapose colors to make them work the best with each other and all that, then it doesn't matter how a palette of makeup is set out for you. You're still going to be able to make your right choices and things like that. I think that one of the things that's great about Blend Bunny is just how conscientious they are in kind of making a big palette like this less scary. Do you know what I mean? Like it's just they've just been able to kind of take some of the fear out of the whole process. One of the things I like about this palette is that it has a black, a near black, a gray, and a white. And it's very hard sometimes to get good blacks and whites because people are so focused on these. And the other thing I want to point out is this is all matte, except this middle row. Everything here is a topper except for the silver. Look at that. Look at it. Look. It's like it has its own light source. It's ridiculous. That is called the Enforcer, and so it should be. This is the ethereal one. I think this is the green one. I'm going to put it just underneath. Just ever so slightly different. The next one up, which has some pinky orange, is called Transcend. Yeah, you can see a lot of pink and purple in that one. And then the next one up from that is Defy. This is very almost purple. From pink to purple. There, it's got, you can see blue in it. And then the last one, which is Supernova, is the most neutral, I think, of the group. I'm just going to put it right there at the top. This one right here. But they're all toppers. I think that that's one of the most exciting things about this palette is that middle row of toppers, because they're not necessarily, like, they can be used anywhere. So as an example, I'm going to go in with that first one, Supernova, which is the neutral topper. And I don't have any primer, no glue, no glitter, no, I haven't sprayed nothing. And this is a light green cast, which is perfect for this color. But do you see how that is? It just catches the light. But yeah, just that brightness. Ooh. All right, so now I'm going to take my I wish I knew who made these because I have two of them. I clearly bought them. I had one and then bought another one. I can just barely see a logo there, and I think it's one of the Amazon logos. So now I'm going to take this very fine. I'm going into the black, which is called Void. I'm just going to define this green a bit more. Blend this into the green. See how that just deepened that, just that snickerdoodle? Just that little bit. And then I'm just going to take a clean, fluffy, nothing on. Oh, no, I can take the green one. It doesn't matter. You know what? I'm going to take the darkest green one because I'm blending it into that. I just want to take the edge off. And then I want to draw the black down into the crease, but not too much. I'd like the inner eye area to stay a little bright. Just going to blend that out with a bit more green. Yeah, that looks good. I like that. I think we can just draw this out a bit more here. Now the fun part. I love doing this. I don't know why. I think it took me a long time to kind of figure out how to do this correctly. So now that I do it without thinking, I'm quite happy about it. But it's cutting the crease. I'm not wiping anything away because I'm not really going to take this back too far. But I stamp the crease. If I try and draw it in one go, it'll be tears all around. So I think I'm going to do a yellow-orange in the eye just to brighten it up and make it fun. So I'm going to start with, this is a Trixie Mattel brush, isn't it? No, this P. Louise. The P. Louise pencil brush, thicker one. I'm going into Voltage, which is this yellow one right here. We're just going to start on the inner corner of the eye. I'm not going to go too high with this yellow because I really want it down here. I don't want to confuse it with the green. I'm going to use the same brush, but I've just wiped off a lot of the orange. Now I'm going to go into, this is almost like a coral, but it's called Energized. Just a lovely little orange, and then I'm gonna mix these two into a deeper color. I'm actually also gonna go into this color here to just blend it into the crease. But let's go with Energized. I'm impressed with how not just pigmented the Blend Bunny formula is, but how it stays true to pan. Like it doesn't go on lighter. It doesn't like. And now, taking that other pencil brush, I'm going to wipe off some of the Energized, and now I'm going to go into, I'm just going to go straight into Incinerate, and I'll tell you why. These two colors, Energize and, what's this one? Energize and Nuclear, they're very similar. See, this one's lighter than this one, and then these two are very similar, although this one's darker than this one. But Incinerate is much darker than that. Like if you hide that shade, you see how much different they are. And I like to, when I'm blending colors, skip a shade. Like if there's a bunch of shades like this where they have a blend and you can see, oh, this is the blend. Like for this blue, I wouldn't blend with this. I'd blend with this because this and this are going to make this. Do you understand what I'm saying? So if you use too many colors, you can end up blending and making everything muddy very quick. So I'm going into Incinerate with this, and I'm just going to start adding it here. You see how much deeper it is than the other one. Not a lot, but enough. And now I'm going to go into is it Ecliptic, which is a browny orangey color, and I think this is going to be great on the outer edge, just here, just where we want to blend it into the crease. I love it. Okay, so now I'm also going to do my eyebrows. Yes, it is a Jessup brush, but it's long since rubbed off the name, so I have no idea. But it's this. It's just this very wide angled brush, and I love this. And the reason I like that is for two reasons. I'm going to go into. I'm going to start with this sunrise color. It's like a taupe, like a yellowy taupey. I'm just going to start with that. I like to try and match my eyebrows to my hair color as much as I can, which is usually orange. So here are the two reasons why I like this brush. The first one is I can take the brush with its angle at its widest And my eyebrows aren't going to be much wider than that. And I can just brush this directly on. And then when I get, yeah, all right. So now I'm going to go into the nuclear color, which is the orange I didn't use on my eyelid. Uh, and again, I've just tapped it on the brush, and I'm just going to wipe it with the width of the brush. I'm using the length of the brush to draw it into the tail. Gorgeous! Now I'm going to go into that ecliptic, which is the that darker color I used on my eyelid transition. I want to use this at the back end of the eyebrow. And with the flat, like the length of the brush, I'm just going to follow my eyebrow like that. Starting here, I'm now going to draw this into the rest of the eyebrow. And then it's all about finessing it and just making it smooth and you need to take your time, but at the same time, the more you do it, the more you kind of learn how to do it better. Do you know what I mean? A lot of this is muscle memory. Oh. Those are my eyebrows. Now, just take my Maybelline Lasting Fix. I don't know why I use this. I know. I got it sent to me from a viewer. It was on my Amazon wish list, and it's great. This is great setting spray. But I'm just aiming up here. I'm just doing up here my eyebrows. I'm not done with my eyes yet, but the eyebrows, they done. So now I'm going to put some glitter on my eyelid. Not glitter. I'm actually going to use some of the shades in the Ellis Atlantis palette from Blend Bunny. But the first thing I'm going to do is this is Glitter Fix Gel from Jolie Beauty. Now, this is a British company. They're all right. I'm not saying they're great. I'm not saying they're bad. But I have not had a lot of luck with their makeup palettes. I'm not sure if they're pigmented enough for a drag queen that might be perfectly fine for day walkers. I don't know. But the one thing they make that is the best is this Glitter Fix Gel. It's normally about $7 Canadian, 7 or 8. But they had it on sale twice recently, one at $5 and one at $3. So I got a couple more. But this is, I'll tell you, this is the best thing that Jolie Beauty makes. If P. Louise made a name for themselves with their eye primer base, Jolie Beauty could do the same with this. I'll tell you right now. I don't know if they will, but they could. It's possible. This is really just a nice smooth gel. You don't need to be too specific with it. Just make sure you get a good coat right where you want it. Now, the one I'm going to use on my eyelids is the Transcend one, which is the middle, in the middle row. The reason I'm using the Transcend, I don't think you can see it by looking, but it's got an orange cast to it. Yeah, you're not going to see it here, but trust and believe when I tell you this has a very orangey gold tone to it, so I think that's going to go well with the orange that I have on. So I'm just going to drag a flat, this is like a foundation or concealer brush from P. Louise. I just find flat brushes do really well with these glitter shimmer things. So I'm just placing the brush and letting the gel take it off the brush. once I get enough of that down onto the gel, then I can start to draw it across. I don't want to spread the gel because I've just put it on. See, I feel like there's enough on there now that I can start to wipe it. This just will smooth it out. Before I do my under eyes, I want to finish my contour and powder around my nose and cheeks and everything. Yeah, that's pretty good. So now I'm going to give this a quick spray. I also want to point out I didn't bake. I didn't put any powder under my eye. And the reason I didn't do that is because it was Blend Bunny. It doesn't, there's a lot, minimal fallout. So I was really, I've just gotten used to working with it. But one day I'm going to go and use another palette, not put bake down, and I'll cry me a river else. Okay, so now I'm going to do my under eye. And this is how I do. I use the P. Louise Rumors Zero Base because it's white. And I like to put white into my waterline and everything. And this is a great multi-use product for a lot of that stuff. So I like to do my under eye as minimally as possible. I don't like a lot of makeup under my eyes. I've tried it. Sorry, I've tried it, and certainly you've seen me with a lot of makeup under my eyes. I've even done eyelashes on my bottom eyeline, but I feel that it closes my face off somehow. I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of it. But this is a good way to do it. Just like to put the white down. So I'm going to use the green that was up above my eye, and the best way to do that is just to grab. This is the light green, but it's too big a brush. Do you know what I mean? So I'm just going to grab something a little smaller. This is good. This is nice and fluffy, but it's not too bad. So I'm just dabbing this into Regenerate and Specimen. I'm just mixing a couple of the greens because I don't necessarily need it to match the upper eye, but I'm gonna start to put this low, like well below my eyelash line, and then I like to bring. See, it's just there. It's not. It doesn't need to take over the face. Yeah. Then it's eyeliner time. So what I like to do, I have this really great. I wish I knew who made this. Oh, it's MAC. It's the MAC 236, 220. It's either the 206, the 226, or the 236. But it's a MAC, very thin. I love this. I love this so much. So what I do is I this is my favorite eyeliner in the world, Black Radiance Liquid. They have a couple. They have a fine liquid. They have a matte. I don't know. This one I've had for a while. It's fantastic. So what I do with this for the underline is back here, I'll just Just draw a line. Just there. And then that's just the start of it. Now what I'd like to do is take this very fine MAC brush into the black, the void on the Ellis Atlantis Blend Bunny palette. And then I take this and I'm setting the black really, but I'm also building it. There. Okay, so I'm going to do my eyeliner and throw some eyelashes on. I'm going to also do the rest of my contour and blush. I'm sorry, boring. If you would like to see me do stuff like that, let me know, but I just think everyone does it. It's anyway, but I'm going to be right back, and we will show you the finished look. Ooh, wait. Ugh. And there we go. There's the finished look. As you know, we used the Ellis Atlantis palette, but this is a part of a collection. There's also a blush palette and a highlighter palette. This is the blush palette. I used this today. This is me in a blush palette. This is excellent. These three colors, fabulous. Not too much blush, not too little blush, just enough to make me look like, well, I'm easily embarrassed. And then this is a highlighter in pink. And I put that on the apples of my cheeks. I love this. But on the actual cheek line, I used, Chloe Demure sent me this. This is from Unearthly Cosmetics. This was their summer collection mystery box last year. And this is the highlighter palette that was in the small one. There was a large box and a small box. This was in the small box. And it's pink, as you can see. And then this one is pink and orange. I don't know if you can see it's marbled. But I used this one here because it has some gold in it, and I just thought it would brighten up the cheeks, that snickerdoodle touch. But again, I also want to say not only a huge thanks to Ellis Atlantis for making this, but Blend Bunny for doing it with them, because this is such an excellent palette. If I only had one palette to use for the rest of my life, this would be it. I'm not kidding. I have used this almost every day since I got it. I love it. I've used every shade in this almost now. They all blend beautifully. They're pigmented. They're so easy to work with. So I highly recommend this palette anyway. I think that you would enjoy it. Is it Drag Queen approved? You're darn right it is, because Drag Queen made it. And bless Ellis Atlantis. I also want to thank I Feel Beautiful Canada. This is a company in Canada that distributes or at least makes available independent companies' makeup products. And as I say, Blend Bunny is there. The whole Blend Bunny oeuvre is there, although I know this is sold out right now. They'll restock it, I'm sure. But the new Blend Bunny collection is going to be there next week. It just came out. You can get it on Blend Bunny. But if you're Canadian, give yourself a break on the shipping and everything, and wait for wait for I Feel Beautiful to get this in, because it's much better. As I said, I got this one and the Rick and Morty palette from the same place. One shipping fee, no duty at the border, because Canadian. And I think I saved, as I said, about $15. Not a lot, but hey, I'd rather save $15 than spend $15. Do you know what I'm saying? And so there you go. There's the look. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below. Also, check out the links to I Feel Beautiful, to Blend Bunny, and, well, there's the like button. Please hit that if you enjoyed this video. There's also the button to subscribe to my channel. If you haven't, and this isn't the first time you've been watching a Wilma Fingerdoo video, then why don't you hit that subscribe button? You know you want to. There are also links down below for my Redbubble store, my Patreon page, leaving a tip or do, any of that. It's all down there. But either way, leave a comment. That's my favorite way to support the Fingerdoo review, is leave me a comment. I love answering everybody. I also like to know, did you get this palette? Did you like it? Did you get Rick and Morty? Did you like it? Are you even a glam light person? I wasn't for years, so now that I have at least 5 glam light palettes, I feel great. Also, are you a Canadian? Have you used I Feel Beautiful? Had you heard of them? Let me know down below. We'll have a chat. And until next time, miss me. Mwah. Seriously, such glamour. Let me look at this up again. Gorgeous. Oh, God.